Zimbabwe's president just landed in Ghana
from the visiting president of Zimbabwe. So there, in short, the two leaders of two very powerful countries in terms of the historic antecedents of this continent.
And trust you with me, this could be the beginning of a major Africa to Africa alliance that could reshape Africa, agriculture and economic cooperation across the continent.
Group, and then you'd also visit the Ghana-Sweden Medical Center. In short,
you don't want to miss the details, and in this video I break it all down for you on Kweku Africa.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
Deputy Chief of Staff, His Excellency President Mnangagwa, will visit the Accra compost plant managed by Jospon Group, and then he would also
So President Emmerson Mnangagwa has arrived in Ghana for a 3-day state visit, personally welcomed by the President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, and he was welcomed with full military honors. But beyond the smiles, the handshakes, and the ceremony, what is really happening behind the scenes? So this is not just symbolic. In fact, this is strategic. Ghana and Zimbabwe are now looking to strengthen bilateral relationships in key sectors like trade, tourism, healthcare, sanitation, and even join force to tackle corruption and unemployment. And this signals a new wave of African cooperation where countries are no longer waiting on the West, but building direct partnerships among themselves. Now, here's what makes this visit even more powerful. Now, the one will have the arrival and state reception with full military honors in Accra, official welcome ceremony, and cultural display showcasing Ghanaian heritage, which I'm going to show you the video because day one is already gone. Now, day two of the visit will have a private one-on-one meeting between both presidents, and it will include expanded delegation talks. It will also focus on economic cooperation and development. Day 3 will have agreement and future plans. There will be signing of a key Memorandum of Understanding, MoUs, between the Ghana president and President Emmerson Mnangagwa. There will also be a state banquet in honor of President Mnangagwa, and there will be a strategic announcement that could impact both nations for a very long term. Now, this is where things get even more serious, because there will be agreement, not speeches, and they will define real partnership. Now, this visit could unlock new trade routes between West and Southern Africa, and it might also bring agricultural collaboration to boost food security. It may also increase tourism exchange between Ghana and Zimbabwe and a stronger political alignment within Africa. So in simple terms, this is about Africa doing business with Africa. But here's the bigger question. Will this just be another diplomatic visit, or will it actually translate into real economic change? Because Africa has seen many agreements, but execution is always the real test. And so what do you think is going to become of this visit? But what I can tell you is that this is just day one. Real story will unfold when agreements are signed.
As we speak, all is set. We have a number of dignitaries who have already arrived, and they will be President Mahama, who will lead Ghana's delegation, will welcome him. He will introduce him to a few top government officials, service chiefs who will also be represented here, members of the diplomatic corps, some representation from the Zimbabwean community here in Ghana, and a few officials who are traveling with the Zimbabwean president will all be lining up in a few minutes from now to welcome the Zimbabwean president. The officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, led by the Sector Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, are also going to be here to be part of the welcoming party. Zimbabwe has had a very long relationship with Ghana. Our relations date as far back as last 60 years. The late Robert Mugabe and the likes of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, etc. These those days were seen to be the leaders of the freedom fighters fighting for the liberation of Africa, fighting for the independence of the African continent as one entity, where bilateral trade between countries or intra-trade among these countries was what was supposed to leverage on empowering Africa as a continent economically, and of course in terms of all other areas of interest to the global community. And for many of you who have joined us, you would remember that many people have associated Zimbabwe with Ghana because of the wife of then late Robert Mugabe. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was in short a while ago, and I'm sure that signifies him coming out to step closer to the plane to officially receive the president of Zimbabwe, who is going to be here for the next 3 days. So His Excellency President Mnangagwa will be here, and I'm sure we will be giving you live broadcast of some of the engagements. Tomorrow, for example, there will be bilateral talks between the two sides to be held at Peduase Lodge. It's also expected to visit the Ghana-Sweden Medical Center. You would also be visiting the compost plant at Ajin Kotoku, which is one of the facilities managed by Jospon Group. And in short are some of the officials who have lined up waiting to have the handshake when His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama goes closer to the plane to receive the visiting Zimbabwean president, His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa. So while you are watching this, let me remind you that we are broadcasting live from the Jubilee Lounge of the Kotoka International Airport. Ghana and Zimbabwe's relations in terms of economic engagements, even if you go back as early as the 80s, when Ghana supported Zimbabwe's independence struggle and the two countries established diplomatic ties, Ghana opened an embassy in Harare. President John Dramani Mahama on the red carpet, beaming with smiles in Fugu, Wednesday has been declared by the tourism minister as Fugu wearing day. Let me just paraphrase it this way. And John Dramani Mahama, after the interesting engagements we had with our friends in Zambia, has always decided that it should be part of our fabric, and many Ghanaians have bought into this. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be with the flower girl to receive the Zimbabwean president. The two countries signed a general cooperation agreement in June 2023, and in March 2026 the two countries have held the inaugural Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation in Accra to turn into concrete projects in the areas of trade, agriculture, mining, energy, tourism, education, and several more.